Hello, our friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family.
Hello there. Good day.
Yeah, I got her holding the mic and she was thinking I'm gonna like pull away real quick or something.
Yeah, I'm watching him. He's about due to do that trick again.
So this is what we got from the guide. Cindy got that it's imperative that we let you guys know what you could do to protect yourself in many different ways.
Hmm.
And one way is just simply creating a protective bubble around you.
I mean, in these days, it's about empowering yourself because so much time and money and effort is spent on certain beings trying to make us feel like we are powerless. So there are ways that we can create a protective bubble around ourselves and around those that we love and even our own town.
Most definitely. Um, I've shared with you guys that when the hurricane came, Irma, in 2017, I evacuated from the area, but was basically mentally visualizing and putting a protective bubble around the house. And I also, have been in the habit of calling on the power of the archangels as well. And so when I got back and looked, yeah, there's trees around just like 1 yard over, 1 yard each side. I mean, it was just a mess in Sarasota, but there was absolutely nothing that was on that property. There was, no trees down, no broken windows, no nothing. Everything was fine on the property. And I also shared with you guys that there was this strange occurrence back in 2017 when a certain group reached out to me to try to kind of recruit me, saying they had been watching me for years now. And when I declined, then there was a car that went through the wrought iron fence in the church next door, did donuts, came straight from my yard where my office was, like heading straight for the office, and then it seemed to bounce. It was amazing. It left its bumper in the driveway. It went down the street. It didn't hit our fence. I don't know how that didn't happen. Because it's narrow between the sidewalk and the fence. The way it went down, but it did take out trees and hit neighbors'
Hmm.
um, things in their yards too, and then it went around the block, and the guy abandoned it and ran off. So you can create this protective bubble around you, around your house, around your town, around your state, around your country, around the whole globe.
Hmm.
The more people that focus in on creating positive energy, and you could use your own intent, because you'll hear some people that say, well, I don't pray to the archangels, Jesus, Yeshua, Buddha, anybody. I don't ask anybody for help. I just, go straight to source. Well, that's fine.
Hmm.
You could do that, and if you feel connected enough and strong enough with it, then go with it, because it's really all about your belief.
Hmm.
Um, there are these currents of energies, and these one way to look at it is, even if a certain being never existed, we could say, even if Yeshua or Buddha or Kuan Yin never existed, because so many people think that they do and have believed in them and put energy and intent and focus into them, then there's this power current there. And it's just like, all you got to do is just take the power plug it in the socket, and there's power there, whether or not they were there in the first place. So when you're doing things that other people have done and tapping into these energy currents, because everything is energy, you're just giving things a boost. So, with me, I always call on the four archangels. It's been a habit, and I've done it at different times. One time I did it with mala beads, and I gave Cindy a headache because I called in too much energy,
Hmm.
going like 108
Yep.
times through. You
Oh,
remember that?
yeah, he did. I did give me a headache. So it's pretty incredible when your belief system kicks in and you call that energy in, what it can do and how it can affect those around you. It was more of an energy like it was a no nonsense energy. It's like, okay, we're here. What do you want us to do?
Right. Well, we had been having some attacks from the dark side, some serious attacks from the dark side, and so it kind of got me ticked off. So I was kind of really focusing hard and calling in heavy hitters, and it definitely made kind of like an impenetrable fortress around us. But the energy was so intense with Cindy's being so sensitive to the energy that it was actually starting to make her feel ill.
Yeah.
Because it was so strong, and like she said, no nonsense.
Right. Yep, most definitely. So I know Mike likes to use these elementals when I do it and I create a protective bubble around myself. I guess it's more intuition, and maybe I just do use the source within, and I put my hands out and I create this bubble and I hold it there in my mind, for 60 seconds, however long. And then I kind of like if you were splashing water over your head, I throw that bubble of energy over me, over my home, over my town, my loved ones, whoever I feel needs that energy. So it is all about intent. And anybody can do it. It's about empowering yourself.
Yeah, and the stronger your belief and the more practice you have, the more powerful you become with it. So when we work on people, one of the first things I usually do is basically I just focus on the four archangels and just call their energies around that person to push away anything that is, trying to latch on to them in a parasitic manner or disturbing them, because, there are these entities there. It's just like what we have, in our real world. Okay, say you're wading through a bayou, for instance. You come out, you might have leeches on you. You go through a thick, heavy forest, like back up in my home area in Connecticut, you're probably going to come away with a dozen ticks on you. It's the same thing in the astral realms. There are beings, things just like that. They're parasitic in nature and they latch onto us. And more often than not, people have something latching onto them. It's almost uncommon to find people totally clear. I'd say maybe one or two people out of 10 maybe are totally clear.
That's
if
a
that.
big maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, if that, because it's the reality of what we have around us. Consciousness is everywhere, everywhere. Every day you are walking through countless beings. I wonder, I said to Cindy, I wonder how many people we've walked through, how many different entities, different consciousnesses we've walked through just this morning, because they're all around us on these different densities. Life is everywhere. Life is everywhere, all around us. So, what I would do is basically call on the four archangels, and I do them more in the Hebrew vibrations, like Michael, Raphael, Uriel, Gabriel. And also in the past, I've called on the four elemental kings, which are Gob, Nixa, Paralda, and Jinn. So when we look at it, what are the archangels? Well, they are, as far as we can tell, as high as you could get in the manifested universe. These are like the guardians of the elements at the very highest level, because this manifest universe is made up of the different elements. So these seem to be the top of the heap, and then below them you would have these elemental kings. It's just if you wanted to get into that. Other people in different traditions just call on the powers of earth, air, fire, and water. It's up to whatever is comfortable for you. So you could also, in many traditions, they call on their ancestors. That's really common because we are still connected to them. Yeah, and they could see from a different perspective than we can.
Oh, yeah. Ancestral DNA is extremely powerful, and they do want to help. And, it might be a parent, a grandparent. It could be a great, 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 great grandparent. I think it is a great, great, great grandfather that is a very powerful shaman that teaches me, that comes to me and teaches me processes and, things, how to do alchemy in the ether to make changes in the ether. And we're very, very connected. I still see him, like in the mornings. Sometimes he might come and give me a lesson, down by a creek about what certain herbs do and how to treat them to get certain things done. It's just really incredible what you can do calling on your ancestors.
Yeah, there's that DNA lineage, that is accessible to all of us. And as you get deeper into this, you can discover your past lives as well, and it gives you a good picture of who you really are in a multi-dimensional sense of things. Now, you could also call on the energies of the mother, the Earth Mother, because Mother Earth is right here. She's right here, and we're part of her body. She's the bigger body, just like you have trillions of cells, and just like there are, for every one cell in your body, there's 10 of something that's not you, but living in you. Your microbiome and all the different bacterias and things that are inside you. This is part of your universe, because you are a universe to these beings. Well, each one of us is just a cell in Mother Earth. And when I had my gardens in the past and was rooted, at night when it was starting to be sunset, I would go sit out there and meditate, and I would invite them in, the elemental beings that were taking care of the plants. And I could hear them approach me. I couldn't see them. Sometimes I see a twinkling of a light, pretty much like what you see here, just like a little twinkle, a little sparkle. But I could hear them, and their energies feel almost animal-like in that they're curious but cautious, and they could see your intent through your energy body. So they would come and gather around, and then I really felt like that really helped the production in my garden, helped the plants grow.
Most definitely. When I had my yard and my gardens as well, it was the energy that made the trees look and feel perkier. And with these beings, these elementals, you can also ask them to go before you. Like if you have a job to do or something to work on that you need some help with, you can ask them to go in front of you and to make a path for you so that things go smoothly. There's just so many different things you can do by calling on Source, calling on the deities, calling on nature spirits, that it's endless, but it's useful and it's empowering.
Yeah, and call on whatever you're comfortable with, and don't call on whatever you're not comfortable with.
That's simply put.
It's pretty simple, again, whatever feels right to you. But what I also wanted to let you guys just reiterate, it's been a while since we talked about this. Another thing you can do for healing and for also empowering yourself and empowering the energy body is just, different colors, because different colors are different frequencies. If you're calling in on a crystalline white light, it contains all the different frequencies. So that's a good one, a safe one to call in. It can energize you. It could lift you up spiritually as well. It could create protection. Again, the crystalline white light contains all frequencies, so very, very safe to use. A vibrant green, if you're feeling a little bit down, you feel like maybe you're getting a cold or something's hurting, visualize yourself in a protective circle, a protective bubble of a vibrant green, something like this, kind of with a little bit of a crystalline, sparkly edge to it, because green's frequency is that of a healing frequency, especially for the physical body. If you are in a lot of pain, a great color to visualize is a sky blue, and maybe even a hair softer than this, more like what you see down in here. That is great for relieving pain. So when I'm working on somebody that, say, has fibromyalgia, they have arthritis, things like that, I'm visualizing this color. So I'll generally go with this first if they're in a ton of pain, and then I'll jump over, visualize the green. And then I'll finish by going to a violet color, because violet will lift us up spiritually, and it also will help to get rid of anything negative, all those little parasites that we're talking about. If somebody's suffering from a viral infection, a literal viral infection, bacterial infection, then exactly what you see here is what I visualize. I kind of visualize the lightning type of coloring, and that is very anti-parasitic, antibacterial.
Right, the anti-parasitic is what we need, because in the ether there's these little insects, and if you look, they're kind of all over the place. So when you walk through a room, say if you're in pain, you're in a bad mood, these things can take that energy that you're putting off and use that as a way to catapult themselves and latch onto you and suck off of your energy. So it's so important to get rid of these little buggers.
It is. So I hope that was interesting for you guys. And again, feel free to do this around your whole town, your
Yep.
city, your house, most certainly, and yourself, as often as needed. I was in the habit of doing the protective ritual twice a day for decades. And it really did do wonders for keeping all the parasites away, which strengthens the aura.
Mm-hmm.
So when I went to my first Reiki teacher, because I had actually been studying Qigong for decades before I got certified in Reiki, when she would measure with dowsing rods everybody's energy. And she had us start like about 20 feet away and then walk towards her. My energy field moved her dowsing rods as soon as I took the first step, and she hadn't seen an energy body that strong before. But that was from that consistent practice.
Mm-hmm.
And also just allowing you to be you, because often these things will latch on, and when you're talking about some a little bit higher consciousnesses, they can slowly take over people's minds. They can slowly start to possess them, because possession is real.
Mm-hmm.
It most definitely is. And now on the earth, there's so many of these entities as we move up through the densities that are really, attacking people big time, big time.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Now is a time where so many people are having a really hard time being challenged on every level. And it's kind of like we have to deal with our demons now. It's like kind of like the last front before we move to a higher and better place. But we absolutely have to deal with our stuff. And this is a great color to help cleanse yourself and move through what you need to move through.
So thanks for being part of the family. Make sure you guys are subscribed and you have the bell clicked. Thanks for your support on Patreon and also on Ko-Fi, because we really couldn't do it without you guys. And as always, if you need to make an appointment with us, it's EEARTS at ProtonMail or evolutionaryenergyarts@gmail.com.
God bless and namaste.
God bless, guys. Namaste.